So anyways, good to have you here. We're trying to figure out what's going on in the background. In the meanwhile, let me start first trying to pull Ivar into the call and see if he can produce some noise as well. It will be more interesting if we have more fire alarms going on. Okay, and then I will also start showing my screen from my end, and that will be, hey, Ivar.
Hi there, you hear me?
Oh, yeah, no noise.
Oh,
Works
cool.
well. Let's give it another chance to Shabnam.
Hello,
Shabnam.
everyone. How is it working?
Oh my goodness, fantastic.
Yeah.
So let me share then my screen, hopefully. Actually, I will share an application window, and I will start just with the agenda. It's our standard document agenda, and I know. Okay, you're okay. So this is our standard agenda. As always, we're inviting for your input, and thankfully we got some from Amelia this time around. So for today, we're first going to turn over to Ivar and get some really hands-on tips on how to start contributing into Jakarta EE9. And then from our side, Ivar, Shabnam, and I will provide some updates in terms of the news in Eclipse Foundation with regards to Jakarta EE. And both of these topics should not take too much of our time. And then we will focus on topics and questions from the community. Some of the questions that are listed here will be addressed throughout the presentation. We are welcoming, as always, all the questions from you. Yes, we can only use the chat. So I will also put the link of the, hold on, the link of the agenda document in the chat, so you can use that also. But let me go back to the questions. So the questions, please do ask the questions and post them either in the on the chat, or even better, at the bottom of your screen on the right-hand side, there is Ask a Question window, and you can ask a question or suggest a topic. And one of us will be monitoring questions and will try to answer as fast as possible. Now, this call is slightly different as we don't have anyone from the community actually providing any updates, which we're trying to avoid, but it just happened this time around. I think we're all kind of new to the situation of COVID-19 and everything that is going on and still adjusting. So, you know, we didn't have, people are focused on how to manage their workloads and business with the new situation, and we didn't have any updates from the community. Recordings are always available, so the latest information on progress on Jakarta EE9 release. So Ivar will provide that, but you can also see what was going on is in previous meetings on the recordings from the previous months. So without going any further, I will switch over to Ivar, and Ivar, you can take the screen and let us know how we can help with Jakarta EE9.
Okay. So Let me see. I'll go there. All right. So what I'll do is to go through a little bit of how to contribute to Jakarta EE9. And the best way to start to figure out where you want to do things is to go to the Jakarta EE9 status board. It's a status board on GitHub, and I'll actually go and navigate into this board. So I'll lift it up a little so we can see. So the way to read this board is under these three columns saying making progress, more progress, and almost there. That's where the work is going on right now. So to figure out which projects that are, or specifications that are in most need of work right now is to use this wave filters. So you can see that every label here has a wave. It can be wave 0, wave 1, and up to I think wave 5 or 6 as well. So the reason why we've done this in waves is that some of these specifications depend on each other. So in order to release the specifications in wave 3, we need to have wave 2 completed. And wave 0 is more of that can be done anytime. So the wave that is kind of on the critical path right now is the wave 1. So by clicking on one of the wave 1 tables, you'll see that the board is filtered to wave 1. And here you can see there are 3 specifications under the making progress that are in the most need of help right now. And I'll just click on one of them. Every of these has a list of tasks, and you can see 4 of these tasks are checked here. So that's why it's in the making progress column. So and you can see here that these 2 tasks, the Jakarta ISO specification document and the JavaX to Jakarta spec updates, these are tasks that are, it doesn't require that you have deep technical knowledge of the specification. It can be done by community members. So if you want to contribute something here that is really helpful, is to help with these 2 tasks. And the Jakarta ISO specification document is to remove all the references to the old Java EE terms and technologies and replace it by Jakarta versions. And the JavaX to Jakarta spec updates is in that document to update all the old JavaX references. If you have code samples or any references to some classes or APIs there that are using JavaX, and update it to the Jakarta spec updates. That's the updates that has been done in this step here, and all of the specs has done this and released a release candidate to Maven Central. So that is done. So we just need to update all the references in the document. So for converting this specification documents, there is a conversion guide on the GitHub. I can even go and click on this one and have a look. So this is a guide that has been worked up by members of the working group as well as community members to have a checklist for what you need to look at and what the work consists of. And one of the kind of important things, or a very good tip to get started with, is to split this document into smaller, one file per chapter, because the initial contribution is one big file. And if you all start working in this file, you will end up with some merge conflicts of some sort. So a great tip is to split this into chapters, and then have different people working on each chapter, so you minimize the conflicts when you work on it. So there is also work going on Eclipse Glassfish. And here's a call to action, and this is more targeted to the project leads and the project members of the implementation projects. That is when the API has been updated to use the Jakarta namespace, then the implementation, such as Jersey or Tyrus, etc., they need to update there, so they use the Jakarta namespace APIs. And as soon as that is done, a milestone release is encouraged. And you don't have to have passed the TCK. There can be test failures. It's just to get this milestone release out on the Jakarta sonotype, so others can consume it, because the Glassfish project in itself combines all these implementations to build Glassfish. So in order to start building this thing, these milestones need to be available. So please do, if you work on an implementation project, do the namespace switch and publish the milestone, then email on the spec project list so the Glassfish project knows about it, and then you they can go on by assembling Glassfish. The Jakarta EE Ambassadors has created a great guide for how to help deliver Jakarta EE 9. So in this link, they have brought up what do you need to do to sign up to do this, because you need to sign the contributor agreement, and that's the only thing you need. So as long as you've done that, you can send a pull request. So this one goes through a little about what can you do to help, and they also mention this conversion guide. So another place to get information is, please do join the platform development list. There's information about what's going on with the progress and the platform. There's also invitations to the weekly call we have in the platform project. The community list has a lot of good stuff going on, and as well as each project has its own development list. So if you're interested in one of the projects, for example, the batch project has a lot of people helping them now. And if you have a particular interest for another project, then please do sign up on their development list, mailing list, and just offer to help, and look at the documents and the Java X2 Jakarta transformation. All the sources are on the Eclipse EE4J GitHub organization, so you just navigate in there and search for your project, and you'll find it. And the status board is unavailable at the Eclipse EE4J project as well. So that was what I had planned to say about this. I see there are lots going on in the chat. I'll of course publish this slide deck afterwards. So any questions or comments so far? Tanya, have you picked up something, or shall I scroll through it?
Let me unmute myself. So there are comments here. Okay, so let me see. First of all, so comments from Kevin and Werner. Several projects have already done this. Okay, so just kind of instructions. So Werner is asking, Are there guidelines for projects, both specs and API and implementation, to use CI servers like Jenkins or additional systems like Travis? CI information for Eclipse is, so Kevin already answered that. Is that?
Yeah, and I think most of the projects are set up with their CI. So
Yes, continuous integration, yes. So let me see, Amelia, no, that was at Amelia, so I call it the project. Okay, so let me ask this. Kevin, would you add anything to what Ivar was saying here, or would you, or any, or Aryan as well? If that's the case, I'll be more than happy to bring you onto the screen if you wish.
I think we're. Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I think we're.
Yeah, no, I just kind of
Yeah.
wanted
So
to.
so the
Mhm.
the main thing is to get involved is to sign up to the mailing lists and take a look at the status board, and the easiest way to get going and help the project is to do the Jakartaizing of the documents. So that is more or less it's a search and replace carefully. So there are some terms and abbreviations and words that you need to replace with other things. So it's kind of a tedious work. It has to be done carefully so you don't change the context or change the meaning of the document. So it's not a plain search and replace all over. So it takes a little while to do it, but by splitting the documents and doing a little piece each, and it's absolutely doable, and it's very much appreciated that all help we can get there.
Okay. So there is a remark from Aryan. He says, just one remark, just that's that some release candidates of implementations haven't been tested yet after the Jakarta conversion.
No, and
Okay.
that is perfectly fine for now, because as I wrote on the Glassfish task, is get the milestones out there so Glassfish can kind of build it together. If it doesn't test the TCKs or work properly right now, that's not the important thing. That will be in the next step. So the first thing, to just get something out so Glassfish can assemble it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ivar. So we will also clip this video from Ivar on its own and upload it to the YouTube. And I will encourage everyone here to circle it around and make sure people are informed of what needs to be done and how they can get started with hands-on help with the Jakarta EE 9 release. If there are any questions further on, you know where to find us. So please don't hesitate to get in touch. So let me now move on. If you can, oh, we lost Shabnam. Look at that. There is always some events going on here. Oh, you're here?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't see you on the screen. Oh, there you are on. Oh, okay. It just didn't maximize your screen. Okay, that's what happened. Okay, so let me now share again my slides, or actually the second agenda item that we have here. So close this message, maximize this. So we are moving to the general update. Oh, okay, well, I cannot do that. I was hoping I could share the browser, but it's not sharing the browser, it's sharing the exact screen. So I have to put the browser on the presentation and share it that way. Okay. Hopefully this works now.
Yep, we can see your screen.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so maybe I should go in the presentation mode. Is this any better?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go ahead. So here are some topics that we wanted to cover today in terms of heads up and updates, what has been going on since last month. And the big thing is obviously the launch of the developer survey. So Shabnam, do you want to talk about that?
Sure, yes. So the Jakarta EE working group launched the survey on Monday morning. This is our third annual Jakarta EE developer survey, which is one of the Java industry's largest surveys with thousands of developers sharing their insights every year. So far, it has been very well received. We have collected 180 responses within 2 days. But we definitely want to hear from everyone, and your input is extremely important. So please take a few minutes to complete the survey. We have shared the link in the document, and the survey is going to be open from from Monday. It was open from Monday, and it's going to we are going to collect responses until April 30th. So yeah, please participate. It's very important. I can see a question from Amelia. Does the YouTube channel for Jakarta EE ready for, if yes, for sharing? So yeah, we're working on the YouTube channel. We have migrated, we're in the process of migrating all the YouTube videos from Eclipse Foundation to Jakarta. And once we review all of those, we will be able to go live with that. So it's going to happen soon. It's in works.
Okay. I don't currently see any questions, so you guys can pick them up. So yeah, moving on. So, and I think this one, for this one, Ivar already touched on. So we finally have a kind of one-stop shop to list all of the projects and community mailing lists. Here is the the links where you can learn more and subscribe to the projects that you're interested in. In terms of the community mailing lists, please feel free to select which mailing list you would like to be part of, and continuously receive updates and be part of discussions, even more importantly, on some very important topics. So please consider clicking on the links and joining a project's mailing list. Okay, so I think Shabnam, you were involved in this one as well. Well, we all were, but Shabnam had quite a bit of input here in preparing this page. So Shabnam, do you want to share the good news?
So in Q1, we had 2 new compatible products added for Jakarta EE 8 compatible implementations. And just yesterday, we added PrimeTone application server as the Jakarta EE full platform compatible products, which is great. So right now we have 7 full platform compatible products and 4 web profile compatible products, which is a great achievement.
Super happy about that. We're hoping to have more. And then just to touch on it, and I'm sure some of the questions will be answered here in terms of Jakarta EE elections. So we're running the elections for Jakarta EE working group committees. If you have not seen the email, please look for the email. Actually, I even put it in the trying to get in, not into the presentation mode, but in the comments of the in the notes rather of the slide. I have put all the content of the email with all the links and everything that is needed for and can answer your questions with regards to elections. But just to kind of put the emphasis on, the elections are running now. We started March 30th, and we will be having winners announced on May 6th. So the nomination period is until April 10th. We're more than welcoming self-nominations and nominations of others. The email address is elections@eclipse.org, and please put the subject line Jakarta EE Working Group Elections. The election period is going to be April 17th to 30th. And then, as I mentioned, the candidates will be announced May 6th. So what exactly we're electing, right? So we're looking to fill in the seats in the 3 working group committees, which is steering, specification, and marketing and branding committee. So we're looking for participant representatives and committer representatives. So who are those eligible to run for these elections? So those are participant members of the Jakarta EE Working Group. Who is a participant member? It's a participant member level of different organizations that are participating in Jakarta EE Working Group. And committer representative is a committer pretty much on the Eclipse, Enterprise Edition for Java top-level project. So please, consider running and help us enhance and be more productive in the Jakarta EE Working Group community. So I also provided a link here in terms of who are the current committees. You can, if you go to Jakarta EE committees page, you can see all sorts of activities that are happening within the committees. You can see the members of the current members of the different committees. And we're changing these pages to as we're evolving, we're changing these pages to provide even more information. So as always, stay put for that. And let me see. Do we have any questions with regards to elections? I want to make a pause. Okay.
I think there were a question from Amelia about enterprise is confusing.
It's about enterprise? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so the question is, that part of enterprise is confusing. I guess it was something you said about the enterprise members or something, but there are no...
Actually, we do have enterprise members, so that's brand new. So enterprise member is about, actually, Primeton is an enterprise member of the Jakarta EE Working Group, and we're just onboarding them because Primeton started, was, got into the Jakarta EE Working Group maybe just a couple of weeks ago. and that's part of the reason why we were, we also see their product being listed as compatible product. So everything is happening as we go along. So considering that we have only one enterprise member, pretty much they can take the seat. On the committees, based on the charter, so working group charter, we have possibility to have 2 enterprise seats in the committee. So considering we have just one enterprise member, they're automatically eligible to take that seat.
Yeah. So and for this particular election, it's the committer members that are probably most interesting for the people listening in here, and that is the regular committers. So any committers on the EE4J projects can run and be a representative in the committees. And today we have Arjan in that's I just have to get it right. That's the steering committee, isn't it? And Werner in the spec committee, or vice versa. So we have committer members present today. Yeah, Arjan is steering and Werner is in spec.
While you're talking, and so let me just grab the screen. So if you look at in here, so on the committee members for the steering committee, so actually this needs to be updated. I think Arjan is here. So that's a mistake. So read here Arjan, not Ivar. And then for the specification, we have Werner as elected committee representative. Again, we have 1 seat for committers according to the charter. So absolutely, we're welcoming everyone to take part and nominate either themselves or nominate someone else. And everyone.
We have a question: how many committers do we have? And
yeah, that's what I'm
not sure about that number.
Oh, how many committers altogether we have in Jakarta? Is that the question? Not on the. So I think last time I looked, I have to look for that information. We're currently reviewing and preparing all the reporting for the Q1, and I believe I don't want to speculate and come up with numbers, but I will look into that and get back to you.
No, but it will be communicated in the quarterly reports, and also emailed out to the community list as well.
So as I said, so Amelia, everything will be documented and reported as a part of Q1, and that will be shared with everyone. Absolutely. In terms of the 2020 elections, I'm not sure. Oh, I'm not sure how is this related number of committers related to the election. So kind of all the possible choices. Is that what you mean, Amelia? I mean, regardless of the number, as many as there are committers on the project, all are welcome to nominate themselves, to be nominated.
Yeah. And Werner has a question. If you can run as a committee representative while being employed by a company that is represented in a work group, and we have this. I'm not sure how formalized it is, but we have this gentleman agreement between the working group members that the committee rep is not employed by anyone that are in the working group. So it's because we want it to be a community seat and not an extra seat for one.
And that is the gentleman's agreement, right? Like it's not hardcore written rule, but I think everyone is agreeing that that is giving a better perspective in the committee if someone is not employed by some of the corporations involved in the working group.
Yeah. So the only requirement for running as a committer rep is that you have to be a committer, right? If you haven't been appointed to a committer on the project, you cannot run. But
Yes.
that doesn't stop you for running next year. So if you want to have a seat in the committee and you're not a committer yet, well, then start being a committer. And the easiest way of doing that right now is actually to just do some Jakartification in the spec project. And sooner or later, when you've contributed a lot, you will be elected in as a committer, and then you can run.
Right. So yeah, Amelia, your comment, you're absolutely right. You have to be a committer in order to run for elections. Right. Okay. Any more questions or comments with regards to elections? If not, let's just move on. So that is with regards to elections. The next one is, so we are going to organize another Jakarta One live stream. And this one is dedicated to cloud native for Java. We have been working, with this new situation of COVID-19, where most of the conferences are now going virtual. The conference that we intended to be part of, which is KubeCon Europe in Amsterdam, that was supposed to happen on March 30th, was postponed. So we took the opportunity of the fact that we already had a program plan ready and were approaching the speakers and wanted to make sure that we provide that content in a virtual form. So I will ask Shabnam if you want to cover in more detail on what's going on in terms of the website and preparations and the announcements and all the marketing activities around it.
Yeah, so yeah, we've been working with the speakers to confirm the date and also working on the website. It's basically going to be a one-day virtual conference with a focus of building enterprise Java on Kubernetes. We'll have industry experts from Jakarta and microprofile communities doing technical presentations and demos. And so the dates that most of the speakers have agreed on is May 12th, but we will be announcing the details soon. We are going to open registrations by tomorrow or early next week, so please stay tuned and be sure to register and join the event.
Again, just because I'm presenting, I don't necessarily see any questions. Any comments or questions on that one?
No, I don't see any questions, Tanya.
Okay, great. So again, we are trying to make sure that we're really connected with the community and serve the community, and therefore we decided to dedicate an account for jugs to use for their virtual meetups. So please, this is yet another invitation for in the community. If you have a need to organize a virtual meetup and you're not sure how to do that or don't have the platform to use, please consider using the Crowdcast account we organized for jugs. So Ivar, did you want to cover anything specific? I think we're doing quite well with interest, but if you wanted to add anything else to the Crowdcast for jugs?
Yeah, so I pasted the link to the Crowdcast in the chat. So and there are lots of interesting talks there. So if you want to watch a talk and join the events, I encourage you to do that. If you're running a jug, then I've already emailed on the jug leaders list, so you should have the information if you're on that list about how to get your event up there. If you're not on the jug leaders list, then ping me on Twitter or something, then I'll set you up.
This is just a reminder with regards to Adopt the Spec program for jugs. We talked about it in length last time, so this is mainly just another reminder. We would love to get more jugs involved in adopting Jakarta EE specifications, so please get in touch for that. Oh, calendar link. So Amelia, this is mainly to address some of your questions. I'm not sure, like I am actually sure this has been shared quite a few times, but I thought it may be helpful to be part of the this presentation, but I will also share all the links in the chat, just in case if that is the helpful thing to do for anyone. So that is the calendar for any of the community, for Jakarta EE community. And, you know, all the links are, the calendar is public, and the links have been shared earlier in various emails, but it's part of my every month of my email updates, but this may help as well. So, okay. So with that, I think that was the last slide of the presentation, and we can move on to further answering questions. Yeah, so that's everything that we had in terms of our update. So I'll switch to the agenda again and start answering some of the questions. So, Shabnam, Ivar, please interrupt me because I don't see the screen or any comments there. I did see that there are some 2 questions in Ask the Question section, so hopefully we responded to that. But in terms of the first 3 questions, so what is the Q1 2020 budget spend? What are the events, with the events going viral, is budget reallocated and adjusted? With not corporate but enterprise and some other participants joining, how is that reflected on the budget? So as I was saying earlier, we're all working on Q1 report or preparing the quarterly reports, and that will be part of, it will be addressed, those questions will be addressed there. So at this point, I don't have any answer for you, but it is in works. Community calendar, I hope I helped with that one. And then Dev Q&A. So Jakarta EE 9 release, please let us know if we didn't answer any of the questions. So we'll monitor the chat and open for that in a bit. In terms of the elections, so Amelia, let me know if there is a question that we didn't answer at this point throughout the presentation. No more questions on the lights, clear now, fantastic. So there was another comment with regards to the use of the crowdcast for these meetings. So let me kind of address that briefly. So without going too much into details, but we started using crowdcast just as another option and exploring how this worked. What we realized over the time is that we got one more attendance with the crowdcast, and then 2, we realized that number of recording views also was a little bit higher. Now, the second part was not necessarily the major criteria, but the fact that we had jump in the people attending live, that was something that was interesting. At every call, if you review the recording, we did ask for feedback, how people like the crowdcast. Are there any objections? Are there any concerns? The limitation, yes, it is in a way one-way street in terms of the audio communication. However, please keep in mind that the limitation is 4 screens at a time. So we can potentially bring someone into the conversation. But yes, we do recognize that there is a limitation in terms of the audio aspect. Now, at the same time, the chat is open. The questions, ask the question option is open, and we do want to hear from you, all of you, if you prefer Zoom over Crowdcast. Those are our options at the moment. If you have some other suggestions, also please free to let us know. As I was saying, so far, whenever we asked the question at the end of the call, it was, I wouldn't say extremely positive, but it was always positive feedback in terms of the platform. No one asked us to go back to Zoom, for example. If there is a need for that, again, to let us know.
Yeah, and I just want to add in, Tanya, that that we are not collecting emails to contact anyone for any
yes,
purpose.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, we're not using these emails to send marketing or sell related content to the participants. The only advantage, and it's a big advantage that this tool is providing, is to just send a reminder to the to people who have registered, and on the day, I think it sends a reminder 3 hours before, and then another reminder before the call. So I think that has been a contributor to getting attendance, because last year when we were using Zoom, we were having like 10 to 12 participants only. But since we started to use Crowdcast, that had a great jump. As you can see right now, down below, we have had 51 registrations. So it's a huge jump. That is the reason that we thought exploring this tool is useful.
Thank you, Shabnam. There is a question, is this call stable? It happens, so yes, so we are trying our best to keep this, I think every second Tuesday of a month. It is in the community calendar. It is always, we're providing different Crowdcast link with the name in it, right? So if you look at the URL for today's Crowdcast, it has a kind of indication on when it happened, so April 20. But it is always in the calendar. So occasionally, due to some other events, we move this call 1 week earlier or 1 week later, but we're trying our best to keep it to every Tuesday of a month. In Q1, what was the average attendance for this call? Let me see. Do we have that? I think we will provide that. We'll make sure, instead of just going crazy and now figuring out the numbers, we will provide the attendance, live attendance, as well as the views of the recordings. That's part of our Q1 reporting. Any more questions or concerns? Okay, so
yeah,
Eva,
so
did you see these questions?
yeah, I see one question from Amelia. Can the Jakarta EE media start start using regular reminders about this call? We have been promoting the calls 2 weeks before the call, and we are posting 1 week before, and then we usually have 3 posts on the week of the call as well. So yes, we're promoting the call. Yes, definitely with links.
Okay, so does anyone see ask a question section or only me?
Yes, I'm commenting there a little bit, but I think
okay.
I'm not sure if I can answer, because I think you need to be a host to be able to kind of have a real answer. But I've commented on the questions at least.
Well, that's what I meant. So I now I see you commented. Okay, great. So that's answered as well. Okay.
I'd also like to just give the offer to anyone who wants to run as a committee rep to the working group in the elections. If you're running there, contact me or I will contact you, and we will set up a interview with you in my Studio Jakarta EE YouTube channel. So I can help boost your campaign. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's an excellent idea. Do you want to provide the link to that, Ivar?
Sure.
Can you send that support action to the community forum, please? So I myself was confused, and only this month I learned what is what, trying to help. Okay, so Amelia, so I'm trying to figure out, should we do another reply all with regards to elections in the community? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. That would be a good idea, because I think the nomination period ends the 10th, so it's only 2 days more. So
yeah.
So a gentle reminder is probably good with some information.
Okay, sounds good. I'll make sure that happens. Okay, any more suggestions? Okay, any more comments, questions? Oh, thank you, Leonardo. We love Jakarta EE community. Okay, so let's close on a positive note with all the love out there, and we'll talk again next month. In the meanwhile, you know where to find us, and let us know if there are any questions, comments, concerns, and so on. Thank you. Bye for now.
Thanks. Bye.